Well, greetings to everyone from the School of Christian Mysticism this morning for those live and at whatever time of day it is. For those watching and listening on the recording, we are exploring again the seventh dwelling of Teresa of Avila's interior castle. And if you've been following along, you'll know that we're using this translation by Mirabai Starr. And we've already had the blessing of one meditation from Malcolm, which you can find on our website and on our YouTube channel on the seventh dwelling. And I think it's fair to say that we were all immensely inspired by that meditation. And so we're going to continue our meditation on this seventh dwelling. And for some people, we might be also thinking about the seventh plane as another way to think about these dwellings. So what I'm going to do today is to uh, give three readings. And as I've gone through the four chapters which Teresa writes on the seventh dwelling, it has come to me that there are three aspects which are repeated in different ways through these four chapters. And the themes that I have picked out that have arisen for me for this meditation are that of the experience of the seventh dwelling, the importance of continuing mindfulness, and the natural outflow of all of this in service to God and to other people, to the world. So these three sections, and we'll have a meditation in between. So I invite us all to enter the meditative space now. Some of us have been in morning prayer already, and so we're already in it by God's grace. I offer this meditation despite my own limitations in the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So a key phrase for our meditation today is this phrase of Teresa's: stillness cradles the soul. Stillness cradles the soul. So we might like to experience the breath as a cradle, swinging, being pushed, swinging, cradling our soul. And if we like, we can breathe out, thinking stillness. Breathing in, thinking cradles the soul. Breathing out, thinking stillness. Breathing in, thinking cradles our soul. So these are some words from Teresa on the experience of union in this seventh dwelling. Yearning, the passion has gone that was so prominent in the sixth dwelling. She says, in the seventh dwelling, everything is new. When we approach the beloved now, he bestows upon us the kiss sought by the bride. Enfolded in this kiss are all the other blessings that come with every degree of prayer that has unfolded along our soul's journey home to him. It is certain that when we empty ourselves of all that is created, detaching ourselves for love of the Creator, that same God fills our souls with himself. We are left in a state of pure spirit, uncreated spirit in heavenly union. We perceive the sacred presence in a radically inner space. Inside our own depths, no separation is possible. Our soul remains perpetually in that center with our God. In this dwelling, all our soul has longed for has been fulfilled. The wounded deer receives abundant water to drink. Our soul delights beneath God's holy tent. The dove Noah sent out to see if the storm is over finds the olive branch as a sign that firm ground exists. It is a sweet friendship, a wonderful companionship, since he never leaves our soul. God desires to show us how much he loves us by revealing the vast reaches of this love to our soul, so that we may praise his greatness. All he wants is to be joined with his creature so completely that we can never be torn apart. He doesn't want to be separated from us. He wills us to understand this perfectly. In spite of outer world affairs needing attention, the essential part of our soul never moves from this divine companionship. We realize it is God who endows us with life. This feeling is so overwhelming that sometimes in this dwelling we cannot keep from uttering, "O life of my life, sustenance that sustains me." It seems that God is continuously sustaining us with streams of milk flowing from the divine breasts. This brings solace to all the inhabitants of the castle. Here, stillness cradles our soul. The customary motions of the faculties and the imagination used to batter our soul. In this center, we are no longer tossed around. No such stirrings compromise our serenity. Our soul does not move from her center or lose her equanimity. The Beloved teaches the soul so quietly, so peacefully, and God and our soul rejoice in each other in the deepest silence. like the construction of Solomon's temple, when not a sound could be heard. So, continuing thinking and breathing, here stillness cradles our soul. And we can add here, our soul does not move from her center. Here stillness cradles our soul. Our soul does not move from her center. Here stillness cradles our soul. Our soul does not move from her center. Here stillness cradles our soul. Our soul does not move from her center. Second focus, mindfulness. This prayer of union, this state of union, is a love letter from God. The Beloved begins to shower us with his deep caring as long as we honor his ways. A love letter written to us with pure love in a secret code meant for us alone. We must not neglect to reply. Even if we are in public, we must answer within ourselves. Now is the time. He seems to be listening. His delicate touch stimulates our soul's firm determination to do whatever he is asking us to do. We walk more mindfully than ever before. careful not to commit the smallest offense against God. The thought of losing such a great blessing makes us walk more mindfully and seek to draw strength from our weakness. We take full responsibility for our actions so that we do not miss any opportunity to please God. Just because our soul sits in perpetual peace, it does not mean that the faculties of sense and reason do, or the passions. There are always wars going on in the other dwellings of the castle, and no lack of trials and exhaustion. But these battles rarely have the power anymore to unseat our soul from her place of peace. Storms pass quickly, fair weather returns, and the presence of the beloved within makes us forget everything else. How can our souls suffer trials and still be at peace? Even though in the other dwellings it is noisy and chaotic, and poisonous creatures slither around, no one can enter this innermost chamber and force our soul out of it. The things our soul hears cause her some distress, but they do not compel her to leave. This kind of suffering does not disturb our equanimity. If we become distracted, the Beloved wakes us up with holy impulses that our soul experiences as a soft touch, more deeply than from mind or memory. This happens frequently and ordinarily, so we have the opportunity to observe it carefully. An inner flow radiates from our center, awakening our faculties. It's not that we have lost our faculties, they just cease to operate here. Sometimes, though, it seems like all the toxic creatures from the furthest corners of the castle come swarming in to pay the soul back for the time when they were unable to have their way with her. The attack usually only lasts for a day or so and is triggered by some random event. Through the ensuing tribulation, however, the soul realizes she has an excellent companion by her side. The Beloved has strengthened the soul, expanding and validating her. The Beloved has deepened our integrity and strengthened our commitment, so nothing can move our soul to deviate in our service to Him. Our determination seems to increase, and we cultivate the stillness so we are not so easily deflected. We make many mistakes, but the Beloved gives us a lot of help in resisting negative impulses, although we must remain ever vigilant. The rest our soul gets happens on the inside only. She struggles harder to maintain the faculties, the senses, and the whole of the body in a state of heightened awareness. We apply the strength we gather to helping all beings in the castle, even the body. The more we go through, the more our inner strength increases, and so the more our inner battles intensify. The words here to sit with: here, stillness cradles our soul. Storms pass quickly, fair weather returns. Here, stillness cradles the soul. Storms pass quickly, fair weather returns. Here, stillness cradles the soul. Storms pass quickly. Fair weather returns. And our last focus, the third focus, that of service. You may think that an experience like this of union would propel our soul beyond herself, that she would become so absorbed she could focus on nothing else. Actually, when it comes to doing anything relating to serving God, we are more present than ever before. He tells us that it is time for us to take up his work as our own, and he will take our work upon himself as his. He tells us that it is time for us to take up his work as our own, and he will take our work upon himself as his. That's such a beautiful, beautiful line there. He will take our work upon himself as his. Everything in us is dedicated to honoring God. Look after what is mine, he said, and I will look after what is yours. So the soul is not worried about a thing. At this level of consciousness, we are not worried about a thing. We have a deep desire to bear burdens for God. The longing to merge with God is matched now with a longing to serve him and others. Not only are we no longer interested in dying, but we have a wish to live for many, many years and suffer the most intense trials, if it means we can contribute to the praising of God, even in the smallest way. Glory for us lies in being able to help the crucified in some manifest way. We don't yearn for spiritual gratification anymore. We have His Majesty Himself living inside us. Why does the Beloved grant so many blessings to this world? We shouldn't think the reason is to gratify our soul. These blessings are intended to fortify our weakness, so that we can follow in His footsteps and feel His suffering. The greatest favor He could grant us is to give us the opportunity to emulate the life His beloved Son lived. If our soul is so deeply with God, we should not think much about ourselves. We are exclusively concerned with finding ways to please Him and showing Him how much we love Him. This is the purpose of prayer. This is the reason of the spiritual marriage. Good works are born from this, good works which are a sign of God's blessing. His Majesty will give us the power to carry out our bold resolutions if we are too weak or timid, by presenting us with a severe trial and then helping us to bear it in a way that we grow from the experience, and later, understanding it, it alleviates our fear and allows us to offer ourselves more willingly. If we fix our eyes on the crucified, everything else will seem insignificant. To be truly spiritual, we must become a slave to God, branded with the sign of the cross. This branding is the token that we have given him our freedom. Now he can offer us as servants to the whole world, as he offers himself. The foundation of the whole building, the castle, is humility. Offer ourselves as a slave to God, and we find ways to serve and soothe our companions. Remember, not to build on prayer and contemplation alone, strive to live the virtues. Prayer gives us the strength to be of service. Martha and Mary need to come together to offer hospitality to Christ. How can Mary, seated constantly at his feet, give him anything unless her sister helps her? The fire of our love for God enkindles other souls. We awaken them through the living example of our own virtues. This is highly pleasing to the Lord, and he will reward us as if we had guided 1,000 unknown souls to him. The Beloved looks less at the grandeur of our deeds than at the love with which we perform them. If we do what we can, His Majesty will help us do more each day. Life is short. Let us offer the Beloved whatever inner and outer sacrifice we can give. He will unite our offerings with the sacrifice the Son made to the Father on the cross. Then, even if our deeds are small, they will be made great through the greatness of our love for God. As soon as we finish such a task, we rest again in that divine companionship. So, our last period of reflection with these words, as I suggest. Here, stillness cradles our soul. Our prayer gives us the strength to be of service. Here, stillness cradles our soul. Our prayer gives us the strength to be of service. So let's spend some time with this focus. So I invite us all to, within ourselves, to make our own prayer in relation to this as we go forth today. We enter our everyday life with this, with these, with this at some level in our being, this experience of union, where stillness cradles our soul, the need for continuing mindfulness, and the offering to be of service in the world. Let us make our own prayer as we see fit now. And with humble thanks and grateful thanks, we come to a close. Offer any benefit or merit of our practice this morning to the benefit of all beings. Amen.